The year 2025 opened with a renewed legislative momentum as the House of Representatives resumed plenary on January 14, 2025, prioritizing reforms aimed at strengthening governance, democracy, and security.
The various attacks are not only coordinated but designed to destabilize our country. Their purpose is to instill fear, weaken public confidence, and give the illusion of being everywhere at once. Nigeria must reject this tactic.
The year recorded parliamentary history as the House for the first time hosted a seventh president twice. Tinubu on June 12, 2025 was in the Green Chamber to honor National Assembly's contribution to the tenets of democracy in Nigeria. Again, on December 19, he returned for the presentation of the 2026 appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly against all negative speculations.
We will usher in a new era of criminal justice. We will show no mercy, I repeat, to those who commit or support acts of terrorism, banditry.
Constitutional amendment took center stage in the Green Chamber all through the year. Public hearings were held in 12 centers across the 6 geopolitical zones. Key areas of focus include electoral and judicial reforms, devolution of powers, local government autonomy, and reserved seats for women.
These are not abstract legal propositions. They are not. They are reforms that go to the heart of what it means to be a democracy.
The public hearings allowed citizens to contribute to proposed changes touching on governance, representation, and national unity.
State policing is not about semantics. It is about protecting the people.
And the reason why we are asking for affirmative action is because when you are lagging behind, you have to have affirmative action so that we can leap forward, so that we can join the Committee of Nations and make sure that this country, this incredible, amazing country that the Lord has given us, takes its position in the Committee of Nations.
The House also paid attention to electoral reform bill, approved a jail term of 75 million naira fine for electoral forgery, and canvassed stricter penalties for vote buying.
If there is overvoting, cancel that unit and go back to election within 48 hours. The person who is popular in that unit will still win the election, sir.
The officers at that polling unit where this overvoting takes place should be prosecuted.
A special feature of the House in 2025 was the NAS Open Week, a platform that educated citizens on roles of legislators, Senate President Akpabio, Gbajabiamila, Dogara, diplomats, civil societies, traditional rulers, students were in attendance.
And I must say that we are very proud that the House of Representatives is taking the lead, and of course the Senate will follow.
In 2025, the House spoke loudly against the proposed bill by U.S. Parliament to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged claims of Christian genocide.
The problem here comes from one, those who deliberately demarcate Nigeria outside the country, including Nigeria.
Deliberate attempt to damage Nigeria's image, to cause problem in this country.
It is not enough to say we are being targeted as a country, but we must put in place the necessary machinery to fight a cause like this.
Concerned about growing security challenges in Nigeria, the House dedicated a full legislative week to the nagging subject and came up with sweeping resolutions aimed at curbing the disturbing trend.
We can even declare legislative emergency. Close the House, shut it up. Who are you legislating for? What laws are you making when the country is running in blood?
On the economic front, the House played a critical role in shaping Nigeria's fiscal direction. Tax reform bills were also debated upon and passed. Committees engaged ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure accountability and effective allocation of public funds.
Desirous of driving up the revenue base of government because it's impacting negatively on the delivery of services to the average Nigerian.
Oversight remained a cornerstone of the House's responsibilities in 2025. Investigations were conducted into government spending, implementation of public projects, and the management of intervention funds and grants, underscoring the House's watchdog role. There were probes upon probes, amongst which were probes of irregularities and the disbursement of students' loan, 9 billion naira revenue lost to illegal mining, 850 billion naira unremitted oil and non-oil export proceeds, called for the probe of NHIA for poor implementation of NHIS following a motion by Billy Osaru, and the resolution to probe the establishment, funding and governance framework of MOA in Edo State, sequel to a motion by Efosa Iyawe.
House resolves to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate the establishment, funding source, governance framework, and donor agreements relating to the Museum of West African Arts, MOA, in Edo State.
Other notable probes were the probes of the power sector reforms, management of Niger Delta oil spill cleanup funds, as well as a committee that was set up to regulate cryptocurrency and POS operations in Nigeria. Several bills and motions were passed. Some bills were controversial. The one which sought the ban on public and civil servants from patronizing private schools and hospitals received nods and knocks from Nigerians.
Of the law banning civil servants from taking and public servants from taking their children to private school, it is not a good idea for now.
Everybody has his own choice. A person like me, I have 5 children. All of them, they are in private school.
2025 was not without internal rancor. It was obvious that there were growing agitations, but they were skillfully resolved behind closed doors. On some occasions, the sessions were rowdy. 2025 witnessed interesting investigative hearings. Some were confrontational. And others led to emotional meltdown.
I'm very sorry, sir. The responsibility of mobilizing logistics for the burial of these 10 core members fell on my shoulders then as the secretary of INEC NYSC collaboration. It was indeed a traumatic experience that no parent will ever want to witness.
Also notable in 2025 was the gale of defections that hit the House like a tsunami. Daily in large numbers, lawmakers dumped the opposition PDP for the ruling APC, a move that landed the APC in a comfortable 2/3 majority control. The House also played the politics of unpaid contractors. Lawmakers resolved that the House should be shut down for 7 days until protesting local contractors who blocked the gates of the National Assembly were paid.
Sitting of plenary should adjourn for 1 week. After 1 week, when we hear from the side of the executives about this issue.
The resolution was, however, rescinded. Another remarkable event in 2025 was the ratification of the state of emergency proclaimed in Rivers State by President Tinubu. Consequently, the House took over the State Assembly's legislative duties for 6 months. In October 2025, the House swore in 5 new members. This resulted in the second coming of Omosede Igbeneghu to the Green Chamber to occupy the seat vacated by Dennis Idahosa. The House also witnessed sad moments. One of such was the news of the demise of Deputy Chief Whip of the House, Adewumi Onanuga. Throughout 2025, the House maintained active engagement with citizens, civil society groups, and stakeholders, reinforcing its role as the People's Parliament, and it wrapped it up gloriously on December 19 when it received the 58.18 trillion naira 2026 appropriation bill from President Tinubu, prioritizing infrastructure development and debt management. From the National Assembly, Henrietta Momodu, EBS News.